It was almost midnight. The small town was quiet and the houses were dark. Most people were asleep. Only one house at the edge of the town still had a dim light glowing from the living room window. Inside that house, Daniel sat in an old chair with his dog Rocky lying at his feet. Daniel was tired, but he couldn't sleep. The night was too silent, almost unnaturally silent. Then it happened. At first, Daniel thought it was the wind. A low hum, soft and distant, brushed against the quiet air. But it wasn't the wind. The sound was different. It was steady, mechanical, like a machine running underground. Rocky's ears shot up. His tail stiffened. The dog gave a low growl, staring toward the back door. Daniel frowned and leaned forward. He could hear it now, clearer than before, a strange metallic humming, pulsing in rhythm. The sound didn't belong to the night. It didn't belong anywhere. Daniel stood up uneasy. "What is that?" he whispered, though no one was around to answer. Rocky barked once, sharp and loud. Then he pulled toward the door, scratching at the wood as if demanding to go outside. Daniel hesitated. Something deep inside told him not to open that door, not to step outside into the darkness. But the sound grew louder, pressing into his ears, into his chest like it was calling him. He grabbed his flashlight from the shelf. His hand shook slightly as he pushed the door open. The night air was cold, colder than it had been a moment ago. Rocky leapt outside first, nose to the ground, tail stiff like a spear. He barked again, but this time his bark echoed strangely, bouncing back as though the air itself was heavy. Daniel stepped out slowly. The sound was stronger now, almost vibrating through the earth. He could feel it in his boots. It wasn't just a noise, it was alive, pulling him forward. The backyard was wide and open, ending in a line of dark trees. Beyond the trees was the forest, thick and silent. Usually the forest was full of crickets and owls at night. But tonight nothing. No insects, no birds, no wind. Only that strange hum. Daniel shone his flashlight across the yard. Nothing. Just grass, dirt, and the old wooden fence. Still, Rocky barked at the trees, fur standing on end. Daniel followed his dog, step by step, each one heavier than the last. His flashlight beam shook across the fence. For a moment he thought he saw something glowing faintly between the trees. He froze. The hum rose higher, louder, sharper. Rocky barked wildly, pulling at Daniel's jeans. The dog wanted to run to it. "Wait," Daniel hissed, holding him back. But Rocky wouldn't stop. His growls were deep, protective, almost furious. Daniel's heart pounded. The light in the trees flickered, bright and dim, as if alive. His mind tried to explain it, maybe a lamp, maybe a car, maybe kids with flashlights. But no, this light was wrong. It wasn't steady. It pulsed, the same way the hum did. They were connected. Daniel swallowed hard. He wanted to turn back, lock the door, and hide inside. But something in the sound, in the glow, in the silence of the forest, something wouldn't let him. The night around him seemed to lean closer, pressing in, demanding him to look. Rocky barked again and dashed forward, slipping through a broken part of the fence. "Rocky!" Daniel shouted, but the dog was already gone, running into the shadows of the trees. Daniel's heart leapt into his throat. He couldn't leave his dog alone out there. Not now, not with that sound, not with that glow. With one deep breath, Daniel followed. The hum grew louder with each step. The earth beneath his feet seemed to vibrate. His flashlight beam caught the trees, their branches twisting like claws in the night. "Rocky!" he called again, his voice shaky. No answer. Only the hum. Then he saw it just ahead where the trees grew thick. Rocky stood stiff, silent now, staring at the ground. His tail was low, ears sharp, body frozen. Daniel raised his flashlight, and there, half buried in the dirt, was something he had never seen before. It was round, metallic, and glowing faintly. Strange markings crawled across its surface, shifting and moving like they were alive. The hum came from it, the sound that pulled him out of his home, the sound that silenced the forest. Daniel's hand shook as he lowered the flashlight. He stepped closer, his breath shallow. Rocky growled low, warning him. Daniel whispered, "What is this?" The hum stopped. Instant silence. The forest was darker, emptier, heavier. His ears rang in the sudden quiet. His chest felt tight, as if the night itself was holding its breath. And then, the object began to glow brighter. Symbols lit up, spreading like fire across the surface. Rocky barked furiously. Daniel stumbled back, his heart racing. Something had woken up, and it was waiting for him. The strange object glowed brighter in the dirt. Daniel could not move. His flashlight hung loose in his hand, the beam shaking across the ground. The hum had stopped, but now the silence was worse. Every tree, every shadow seemed to lean closer, listening. Rocky growled low, his fur standing tall, his eyes locked on the object as if it were alive. The dog didn't bark this time. He just stood still, muscles tight, ready to leap. Daniel finally took a step forward. His boot sank softly into the dirt. He wanted to run, but he couldn't leave it. Not after hearing that sound. Not after seeing the light. Something inside him whispered, "If you turn back now, you will never know." The object pulsed again. A soft blue glow rippled across its surface, then faded. The strange markings carved into the metal shifted, sliding like liquid symbols. Daniel had never seen writing like that. It wasn't carved. It wasn't painted. It was alive. He crouched slowly, bringing the flashlight closer. Rocky whined, uneasy, but didn't move. Daniel reached out a trembling hand and touched the cold surface. The world shifted. For 1 second, Daniel felt weightless. His ears popped as if the air pressure had changed. The forest blurred, the trees bent like shadows in water. He gasped and pulled his hand back. The object went still. He stumbled backward, breathing hard. What the hell is this? His voice sounded too loud in the heavy silence. Rocky barked once, sharp. The dog's head tilted, his ears twitching. Then Daniel heard it too, a faint whisper. Not in the air, not in the trees. Inside his head, the symbols on the object flared again, brighter now. His flashlight flickered as if the energy in the air was swallowing the batteries. He dropped it, but the glow from the object lit the forest enough to see. The whisper grew clearer. It wasn't a language Daniel understood, but it had rhythm, like words being spoken through water. He pressed his palms to his ears, but the sound was inside, not outside. Rocky barked at the object, stepping closer, teeth bared. For the first time, Daniel noticed something strange about his dog. Rocky's eyes caught the glow, not just reflecting, but absorbing it. For a heartbeat, his pupils flared faint blue, the same shade as the object. Daniel froze. The object pulsed. Rocky barked again, and the hum returned, louder, faster, vibrating through the ground. Daniel could feel it in his bones. The object was responding not to him, to the dog. Daniel's throat went dry. He whispered, "Why, Rocky? Why you?" The dog didn't look at him. His growls turned softer, like low sounds of speech. Daniel almost thought Rocky was answering. Then the ground shook. It was small at first, a faint tremor like distant thunder. The leaves above shivered. Dirt slid off the metallic surface. The object lifted just an inch, then sank back down. Daniel stumbled. His heart slammed against his ribs. No, no, no. The whisper in his head changed. It was faster, urgent, as if warning him, but he couldn't understand. He pressed his palms harder to his ears, shaking his head. "Stop, I don't understand you." Rocky barked again, louder, furious. His body leaned toward the object. His tail was stiff, his body shaking, and then the hum stopped again. Silence, but the forest did not return to normal. No insects, no owls, no wind. Just silence. A silence so heavy it made Daniel's chest ache. Slowly, the glow faded back to dim. The symbols slid back into stillness, waiting. Daniel didn't move for a long moment. His hands shook. His breath came in short, sharp gasps. He wanted to believe this was some strange machine. Maybe from the military, maybe a hidden experiment. But deep inside he knew. This was not human. He turned to Rocky, who still stood close to the object, staring at it, ears sharp, body tense. "Come on, boy," Daniel whispered. His voice cracked. "We need to go," but Rocky didn't move. He whined softly, looking at Daniel with those strange, glowing eyes. For a second, Daniel felt something pass between them. A thought that wasn't his. A flash of images he couldn't understand. Stars. Darkness. A cold emptiness. Something huge. He staggered back, shaking his head. No, this isn't real, but it was. The object lay there, glowing faintly, waiting. Then in the distance, a branch snapped. Daniel spun around, his chest tight. The forest had been empty, silent. But now footsteps echoed faintly through the trees. Slow, heavy, coming closer. He grabbed Rocky's collar, yanking him back. The dog growled, still staring at the object. Daniel whispered, "Not now." We're not alone. The footsteps stopped. Silence again. Daniel's skin crawled. He held his breath, straining his ears. Nothing. Then, from the corner of his eye, he saw it. A figure, tall, thin, still, standing among the trees only 20 feet away. The glow from the object reflected faintly off its shape. Not human, too long, too narrow. Its head tilted slowly as if studying him. Daniel froze. His voice caught in his throat. Rocky barked wildly, pulling at his grip. The figure did not move closer. It just watched. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it faded back into the dark. Daniel's legs shook. His breath came fast, his hands cold with sweat. He looked back at the object, then at the empty trees. Something had drawn him here. Something had shown itself, and now, something else was watching. The forest was no longer empty. Daniel knew it. He had seen the figure, tall, thin, and wrong, not human. Now the night pressed down around him, heavy and sharp. The glow of the strange object painted the ground in pale blue light, and Rocky stood firm, growling at the trees. His body was tense, his teeth bared, but his eyes still held that faint, unnatural glow. Daniel's heart pounded. His chest rose and fell too fast. He whispered to his dog, "Easy, boy, easy." But Rocky's growls only deepened. Then came the sound. Not the hum from the object this time. A different sound. A frequency too high, too sharp. It cut into Daniel's ears like glass scraping against metal. He winced, pressing his palms against his head, but Rocky didn't seem hurt. He tilted his head, ears twitching, listening as though it were words. Daniel's stomach tightened. "No, don't listen," he whispered. But his voice was weak, useless against that piercing tone. The trees shifted. The tall figure stepped forward. Just enough for the glow to catch its outline. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The being was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its body was long and narrow, skin pale and smooth like glass. Its arms hung low, too long, ending in thin hands that almost touched the ground. Its head tilted unnaturally. Eyes dark voids that reflected the object's light. It didn't move closer. It didn't need to. Its voice wasn't spoken through a mouth. The frequency was its voice, and Rocky was answering. A low bark, then a whine, then a deep sound, almost a growl, but different. Like Rocky was shaping a reply. Daniel's eyes widened. His knees weakened. This isn't real. But it was. His dog was answering the thing. The alien lifted one hand, slow, deliberate. Not a threat, a signal. The object on the ground responded instantly. The hum returned, stronger, vibrating through the earth. The glowing symbols flared alive again, racing across its surface. Daniel staggered back, shielding his eyes from the sudden light. When he looked again, Rocky had stepped closer to the object. His glow was stronger now, his eyes two bright blue orbs in the night. His fur rippled as if touched by invisible wind. "Rocky!" "No," Daniel shouted, panic rising in his chest. He reached out to pull him back, but the air between them vibrated like a barrier. His hand stopped short, tingling with static. Rocky didn't even look at him. The alien made another sound, longer this time, lower, almost like a chant. The symbols on the object changed shape, rearranging into a new pattern. Daniel didn't understand, but Rocky barked in rhythm as if he did. It wasn't random. It was a conversation. Daniel's throat went dry. His dog was speaking to it. The alien tilted its head again, studying Rocky. Its movements were calm, careful, not hostile. And for one strange moment, Daniel felt something unexpected. Curiosity instead of fear. The thing wasn't here to attack. It was here. For his dog. The object pulsed once, sending a ripple of blue light across the ground. The trees shook as if hit by a strong wind, though the air itself was still. Daniel staggered, shielding his face. A vision slammed into his mind. Not words. Not pictures. Something deeper. He saw endless stars, cold and bright. He saw a planet, not Earth, dark and broken. He saw giant ships, their shapes massive and cruel, moving silently through the void. He stumbled, gasping for breath. His legs nearly gave out. He whispered, "What is this?" The alien's gaze locked on him, and for a second Daniel felt its voice inside his head. Clearer now, though still broken. Danger. The word was faint, sharp, like stone scraping against steel, but it was a word. Rocky barked again, stepping closer to the object. His tail was stiff, his body rigid. His bark echoed strangely, carrying more weight than usual, almost vibrating with the hum. Daniel staggered closer, desperate. "Stop! Don't touch it!" He grabbed for Rocky again, but the dog turned his glowing eyes on him. For a moment, Daniel froze. Those weren't just his dog's eyes anymore. Something else looked through them. Something old, something vast. Rocky whined softly, almost gently, and then looked back at the alien. The air shifted. The alien lowered its arm. The hum slowed, fading until only the faint glow of the object remained. The symbols dimmed, their light sinking back into silence. The connection broke. Daniel gasped for air, his chest heavy. His knees gave way and he dropped to the dirt. He pressed his hands to his face, trying to shake away the visions still burning in his mind. When he finally looked up, the alien was still there, watching, waiting, its tall figure unmoving. Its black eyes locked on him. Rocky stood between them, silent now but calm. His fur no longer bristled. His tail was low. But his eyes still glowed faint blue. Daniel's voice shook.
"What do you want from us?"
The alien tilted its head again. Then slowly, carefully it pointed, not at Daniel, not at the object, at Rocky. The message was clear. Daniel's stomach twisted. Fear, anger, confusion all tangled inside him. Why his dog? Why not him? The alien lowered its hand, then stepped back. Its body seemed to blur into the shadows, fading like mist. In seconds it was gone, but the object remained. And Rocky still glowed. Daniel sat in the dirt, trembling, staring at his dog. He whispered, "What did it say to you?" Rocky turned, his glowing eyes meeting Daniel's. The dog whined softly, almost like an answer. Daniel shivered. Because deep inside he knew. Rocky understood, and that terrified him more than anything. The night refused to return to normal. Daniel sat frozen in the dirt, his flashlight long forgotten. The strange object glowed faintly beside him, and Rocky stood guard in front of it, his eyes still shimmering that unnatural blue. The forest was silent, but it wasn't empty. He felt it, the weight of unseen eyes pressing down from the dark. The alien was gone, but not truly gone. Daniel knew it, his breath came in shaky bursts. He whispered, "This isn't real. I'm dreaming." But when Rocky turned his glowing eyes toward him, Daniel's stomach twisted. Dreams didn't look back. Suddenly a sound broke the silence. Not the hum of the object. Not the whisper in his head. This was different. A slow, deep vibration, like the ground itself was breathing. The trees shivered. The leaves above rustled, though no wind touched them. Daniel's skin prickled. "Rocky," he whispered, his voice thin. The dog's ears twitched. He barked once, sharp and defiant, then turned toward the trees. A shape moved. It stepped out from the shadows, tall, thin, pale. The alien. Its movements were slow, deliberate, as though it did not want to startle them. Its head tilted slightly, those dark, hollow eyes fixed on Rocky. Daniel scrambled to his feet, backing away. His voice cracked. "Stay back." He grabbed a fallen branch and held it like a weapon, though he knew it was useless. The alien didn't react. It only watched. Rocky barked again, loud and firm, his body stiff, ready. The alien raised one long hand, palm open, in what almost looked like a gesture of peace. The object responded instantly. The hum roared to life, stronger than before, rattling the ground. Symbols lit up in rapid patterns, flashing brighter than Daniel had yet seen. His ears rang and his chest shook with the force of it. He shouted over the noise, "Stop it!" But his voice was swallowed by the hum. Then, Rocky stepped forward. Daniel lunged to grab him, but the same invisible force stopped him again, the air thick like glass. He pushed, struggled, but couldn't move closer. "No, Rocky, come back." The dog ignored him. His glowing eyes locked on the alien. A low sound left his throat. Not quite a growl, not quite a bark. It was something else, something new. The alien answered. It didn't speak with words. It released a low vibration, deep and strange, echoing through the air. Daniel's teeth rattled from the force of it. But Rocky didn't flinch. He barked back, his sound matching the rhythm of the alien's voice. Daniel's jaw dropped. His dog was speaking to it. Not just noise, communication. The alien tilted its head, then stepped closer. Only a few feet separated them now. Its long fingers twitched as though struggling to hold back. For the first time, Daniel saw something in the alien's movements. Not anger, not threat. curiosity. The conversation deepened. The alien made another sound, this one higher, layered, almost like a chord from an instrument. Rocky barked once, then twice, with pauses between. The object's symbols pulsed with each reply glowing brighter. Daniel's chest tightened. He couldn't move, couldn't think. He wanted to scream, to drag Rocky away, but some part of him, deep inside, knew he was watching something bigger than himself. And then, it happened. The alien crouched low, its dark eyes never leaving Rocky. Slowly, carefully, it extended its hand. Its long fingers hovered inches above the dog's head. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. "No!" he screamed, slamming his fists against the invisible barrier.
"Don't touch him!"
Rocky didn't move. His tail was low, but his body was calm. He let the hand hover above him. A flash of light erupted from the object. Blue sparks shot into the air, dancing like fireflies. One spark touched Rocky's fur. Another touched the alien's hand. The light spread between them, forming a thin thread of energy that glowed brighter with each second. Daniel gasped. He had no words. He could only watch as his dog and the alien shared something he couldn't understand. Visions hit him again, stronger this time. He saw Earth from above, small and fragile against endless stars. He saw giant ships circling beyond the moon, their shadows dark and sharp. He saw destruction raining down, cities burning, oceans boiling. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. The images weren't his, but they were real. He could feel the heat, hear the screams, smell the smoke. Through the haze, a single word pierced his mind. Prepare. His eyes shot open. He gasped for air, sweat pouring down his face. Rocky and the alien still stood locked in that thread of light. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the connection broke. The sparks vanished. The hum died. The forest fell silent again. The alien stood tall, its head tilting once more. It looked at Daniel, not with hostility, but with intent. Then, without sound, it stepped back into the shadows. Its pale body blurred, fading until nothing remained. Rocky turned to Daniel. His glowing eyes dimmed, though not fully. He whined softly, walking to his master's side. Daniel dropped the useless branch and sank to the ground, trembling. He wrapped his arms around the dog, burying his face in the fur. "What are you?" he whispered, voice breaking. "What did it say to you?" Rocky only licked his hand, gentle, calm. But the faint glow in his eyes told Daniel the truth. His dog knew more than him now. And whatever the alien had shared, it was only the beginning. Daniel didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. He sat on the living room floor with Rocky beside him, the dog's head resting on his knee. The strange glow in Rocky's eyes had faded a little, but not completely. Every time Daniel looked into them, his stomach twisted. They weren't the same eyes he had known for years. They were different. They carried something. Rocky's body was calm, breathing steady, as if nothing had happened. But Daniel knew. The alien had left something inside him, a piece of knowledge, a warning. The clock on the wall ticked quietly. Each second felt heavy. Daniel rubbed his temples. His thoughts raced. What did it show me? Ships, war? Death? Was it a vision? Or a promise? Rocky lifted his head suddenly, ears twitching. He growled low, not at the door, not at the window, but at nothing, at the empty air. Daniel froze. What is it, boy? Then it hit him, not sound, not light, a flash. His mind burned with images again, but this time it wasn't from the alien or the object. It came from Rocky. Daniel gasped, clutching his head. He saw the Earth, fragile and blue, hanging in space. Then shadows, dark, massive ships sliding across the void. They were silent but heavy, like predators circling prey. He felt their presence, cold and merciless. The vision changed. He saw cities on Earth, tall buildings crumbling, fires spreading, people screaming, running through streets filled with smoke. He saw oceans boiling, skies cracking with lightning, not from storms, but from weapons beyond his understanding. And then he saw the alien planet again. Dead, cracked, burned, its surface nothing but ash. Daniel's chest tightened. He couldn't breathe. He tried to push the images away, but they poured through him unstoppable. He whispered through clenched teeth, "Stop, stop it." And then it ended. The silence of the living room returned. The clock ticked. The air felt heavy. Rocky whined softly and pressed his head against Daniel's hand. Daniel's breath came fast and shallow. His eyes stung with tears. He looked down at his dog. That was you, wasn't it? You showed me that. His voice shook. You understand, don't you? You know what they want. Rocky licked his hand gently. His glowing eyes softened, but the light never disappeared. Daniel staggered to his feet, pacing. His hands trembled. They're coming, he whispered to himself. They're already out there. Waiting. He pressed his palms against his face. Why me? Why us? Why you? He looked at Rocky, and the truth sank deeper. The alien hadn't chosen him. It had chosen his dog. Daniel dropped back into the chair, burying his face in his hands. He remembered the single word that had echoed in his mind earlier. Prepare. Prepare for what? His thoughts spiraled, but then he heard another sound. Soft. Not outside. Inside. A whisper. He froze. It wasn't the alien this time. It was different, clearer, familiar. It was Rocky, not barking, not whining. A whisper inside his head, danger, Sky, coming. Daniel's body went cold. He pulled his hands away, staring at his dog in shock. You can talk? His voice cracked, disbelief dripping from every word. Rocky didn't move. He only stared at him, eyes glowing faint. The whisper came again. Not me. Message, warning. Daniel's knees weakened. He gripped the edge of the chair. You're carrying it. The alien put it in you. Rocky's head tilted almost human-like, as if agreeing. Daniel shook his head. His world spun. His best friend, his dog, was no longer just his. He was a vessel. A bridge, he whispered. What do they want from me? From us? Rocky whined softly, then the whisper returned. Ships. Moon. Hiding. Waiting. Daniel's heart pounded. He thought of the visions, dark ships circling beyond the moon. They weren't invading yet. They were waiting, watching. Why? He asked desperately. Why wait? The reply was slower, heavy, like the words were difficult. Signal. Once found. They come. Daniel's chest ached. The alien hadn't just shown them danger. It had given them a choice. If Earth stayed silent, maybe it would be spared a little longer. But if they revealed themselves, the enemy would descend. He leaned forward, pressing his face into his hands. God, what do I do? Rocky pressed closer, his warmth grounding him. For years, this dog had been his protector, his friend, his only family. Now he was more. Now he was carrying the voice of something far beyond human. Daniel lifted his head, staring at the faint glow still coming from Rocky's eyes. The message was clear, even if the words were broken. Earth was in danger. The alien's world had already been destroyed. Humanity was next. But why give the warning to him? To a man and his dog in a forgotten town? The whisper returned one final time, faint but sharp. Chosen. Bond stronger. Together, Daniel's throat tightened. He understood. The alien hadn't chosen at random. It had seen the bond between him and Rocky. The trust, the loyalty, the unspoken language between man and dog. That bond was the key. The only way to carry a message humanity wasn't ready to hear. Daniel slumped back in the chair, trembling. His life had changed in one night. The world itself had changed. He looked down at Rocky, who rested calmly at his feet again as though nothing had happened. But his glowing eyes told another story. The message had been given. The warning had been delivered, and now, it was up to them. The morning sun should have brought peace, but it didn't. Daniel sat by the kitchen table, staring at the strange object he had carried inside before dawn. It rested on a blanket, faintly glowing like it was alive. Every few seconds, the symbols across its surface shifted as though it was breathing. Rocky lay nearby, eyes half closed. Even in sleep, the faint blue glow lingered in them. He was no longer the same dog who had chased squirrels in the yard, who had begged for scraps at the dinner table. Something inside him had changed. He carried a burden now, one too heavy for any animal, maybe even for any man. Daniel rubbed his temples, exhausted. His head was still buzzing with fragments of visions. The ships, the destruction, the word prepare, he whispered to himself, but prepare how? As if answering, the object pulsed once, brighter. Daniel jumped back in his chair. The symbols twisted, rearranging into a new pattern. A low hum filled the room, softer than before, almost like a voice waiting to be heard. Rocky opened his eyes. He stood, ears alert, tail stiff, staring at the device. Daniel's stomach sank. No, not again. But the whisper returned inside his head. Signal. Choice. Now. Daniel gripped the table hard, his knuckles white. Choice? What choice? His voice cracked, echoing in the small kitchen. The object glowed brighter. Rocky barked once, sharp, then whined as if trying to explain. Images rushed into Daniel's mind again, too fast, too heavy. He saw the Earth surrounded by invisible threads, fragile and exposed. He saw the ships waiting beyond the moon, hidden, patient. And then he saw two paths. One path was silence. If he did nothing, the Earth might remain safe a little longer, hidden in the darkness of space. Humanity could live in ignorance, at least for a while. The other path was warning. The device could send a signal, a call to humanity, a warning to prepare. But once activated, the signal would also be heard by the enemy. It would reveal Earth's position. And then they would come. Daniel gasped, pulling back. His hands trembled. "You're asking me to decide? I can't, I'm just one man. I can't decide for the whole world." Rocky barked again, his glowing eyes fixed on him. The dog's body shook, almost as if he understood the weight of it too. Daniel leaned forward, pressing his hands to his face. His breath came fast, uneven. "If I stay silent, billions die unprepared. If I warn them, billions might die sooner. How is that a choice?" The whisper came again, clearer this time, and chosen, stronger. Must decide. Daniel's throat tightened. Tears burned in his eyes. He had never asked for this. He was just a man in a small house with a loyal dog and a quiet life. He didn't want to carry the fate of humanity on his shoulders. But the alien had chosen him anyway. No, chosen them. He looked at Rocky, his companion through every lonely night, every hard day. The alien had seen their bond, and now it demanded a decision that no human leader had been given. Daniel's voice shook. "What if I'm wrong?" Rocky patted closer, pressing his head against Daniel's leg. His glowing eyes softened, and for a moment Daniel felt calm. Not peace, but strength. The object pulsed again, louder this time, almost impatient. Daniel stood, staring down at it. His hands shook as he reached forward. The surface was cold beneath his fingers, but the glow warmed instantly at his touch. Symbols raced across it faster, waiting. He closed his eyes, his chest heavy. In his mind, the two paths still burned, silence or signal, fear or warning. Rocky barked once, sharp and clear, as if giving his answer. Daniel opened his eyes. His breath steadied, he whispered, "If they're coming, no matter what, then humanity deserves to know." The object pulsed bright, blinding white light flooding the room. The hum roared, rattling the windows, shaking the walls. Daniel staggered back, shielding his eyes. Rocky barked again, his voice echoing unnaturally as if carried by the device itself. Then silence. The light dimmed. The hum stopped. The object went still, its glow faint once more. Daniel's chest heaved. He wiped sweat from his brow. "It's done," he whispered. But Rocky's glowing eyes told him the truth. The signal had been sent. The warning had gone out. And so had Earth's location. For a long moment, Daniel stood frozen, listening to the silence of the house. Outside, the sun shone bright over the quiet town. Birds sang as if nothing had changed, but everything had. Rocky walked to the window, staring out at the sky. His tail was stiff, his ears twitching. Daniel followed his gaze. The sky was blue, peaceful, empty, but not for long. Daniel's stomach turned. He knew what was coming. Somewhere out there, beyond the moon, in the dark ocean of space, the ships had heard. And now, they were on their way. The house felt too quiet after the signal was sent. Daniel stood in the middle of the room, his chest heavy, his hands shaking. The strange object lay still on the table, no longer humming, no longer glowing. It looked harmless now, like nothing more than a round piece of scrap metal. But Daniel knew better. The message had gone out. Humanity had been warned, and the enemy had heard it too. Rocky sat by the window, staring out at the sky. His glowing eyes reflected the sunlight, faint but sharp. His ears twitched at sounds Daniel couldn't hear, his body tense, alert. Daniel swallowed hard. "It's over now, right? We did it." His voice was weak, like he didn't believe his own words. Rocky didn't move. He didn't even look back. Then the vision struck again. Daniel staggered, grabbing the table for support. His head burned with sudden light, his chest tightened. Images filled his mind faster than before. The sky split open. He saw giant ships descending, black against the stars. Their edges were sharp, their forms unnatural. They moved like predators, silent but unstoppable. Earth's cities lit up beneath them, not with hope but with fire. He gasped, falling to his knees. No, no. His voice cracked, raw with fear. And then the vision changed. He saw Rocky, his loyal companion, standing tall in a ruined city. The dog's eyes glowed brighter than ever, shining like two burning stars. Around him stood people, their faces scared, their voices desperate. They looked to Rocky, not Daniel. The dog barked once and the sound echoed like thunder rippling through the sky. Daniel blinked, heart racing. What does that mean?" he whispered. Rocky turned his glowing eyes on him. The whisper came again, clear, sharp. "Now, they come." Daniel's stomach dropped. He staggered to his feet. "How long?" "How much time?" No answer. Rocky whined softly, but the glow in his eyes flared brighter, stronger, almost alive. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. For the first time he realized it. The glow wasn't just light. It was intelligence. Something inside Rocky was awake now. The alien hadn't only given him a message, it had given him something else. Daniel backed away, his chest tight. No, this isn't right. "You're my dog. You're Rocky," but Rocky only stared, silent. His head tilted in that same alien way, a gesture Daniel had seen before in the being from the forest. Daniel's skin crawled. "You're changing," he whispered. The whisper came again, colder this time. "Not change. Prepare." Daniel shook his head violently.
No, you can't.
You're not some weapon." His voice cracked. Rocky barked once, sharp and loud. The lights in the kitchen flickered. The object on the table pulsed faintly, responding to the sound. Daniel's heart pounded. "What are you?" His voice was almost a scream now. The reply cut through his mind, heavy, final. "Protector." Daniel froze, his breath caught. The word echoed in his skull, vibrating through his bones. He stumbled back, shaking his head. "Protector? Against them? You can't. You're just a dog." But deep inside, he knew the truth. Rocky wasn't just a dog anymore. The alien had seen their bond and it had made a choice. Humanity didn't just need a warning. It needed a protector. Something pure, loyal, unbreakable, something that would never betray. Daniel's chest ached. His best friend had been turned into something greater, something terrifying. He whispered, broken, "Why you? Why not me?" Rocky stepped closer, eyes burning bright now, brighter than before. He licked Daniel's hand gently, like he always had after a long day. For a moment he was still Rocky, the same loyal friend. But the glow in his eyes told another story. The whisper returned, soft but final. "Because they trust me more than man." Daniel's knees buckled. He sank to the floor, tears in his eyes. Humanity's fate had been tied to his dog, not him. The alien had made its decision. Rocky turned back toward the window, staring at the clear blue sky. His body stiffened, ears rising. Daniel followed his gaze, heart pounding. At first he saw nothing. Just clouds drifting, sunlight spilling, but then, just for a second, he saw a shadow move across the sky. Not a plane, not a bird, something larger, something higher. His chest tightened. His breath froze. "They're already here," he whispered. Rocky growled low, deep, the sound rumbling through the house. His glowing eyes flared like twin beacons. Daniel's fear turned to dread. The signal had been sent. The warning had been given, and now, the war was coming. The screen of the mind's vision faded, leaving only silence in the kitchen. But the final whisper lingered in Daniel's head, sharp as a blade. "Prepare."